Welcome to Lawyer Business Advantage. This podcast is dedicated to helping attorneys earn more money, get better clients, and spend more time with family. I'm your host, Alay Yajnik, founder of Law Firm Success Group. Smart business guidance for small law firms begins in 3, 2, 1. And it's my pleasure to welcome to Lawyer Business Advantage, Robert Weiss, president of Multivision Digital. Robert, how are you doing today?
Excellent, excellent. So excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're finally sitting down after like 6 months of trying to figure this out. So welcome
Yeah,
to the show.
thank
Finally,
you. Hello,
great to have
everybody,
you
for
here.
listening.
Yeah, and as we were starting, you mentioned something to me just as we were chatting that really stuck with me, and I want to open with that. So you mentioned that law firms in particular have a lot of misconceptions about video. What did you mean by that?
Oh, there's a couple areas of misconception. I think let's start with the dollars, right? I'm going to do one video and it's going to cost me 20, 30, 40, $50,000. It shouldn't. And in fact, we always recommend law firms don't start with one video. Have a crew come in and actually get 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 videos in a day that are more informational, educational than that big firm overview video that you might spend 10, 15, 20, $30,000 on, right? Because that's content and that's what people are searching on to solve their problems. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'll spin off that one video's all I need. Think about all the questions that, if you're listening, you answer all day long, day in and day out, about your practice, about the different problems in your area of law. And all of those things can potentially be videos because, again, people are searching on that. And when they come to your website, they learn about that from you as a person explaining that. And if you have more video over time, they're going to see you in a polo shirt, when your hair is messed up or long, when you have a fresh haircut, when you're in a suit. And they'll typically watch 2 or 3 videos or more, and they will get to know you. And what lawyer doesn't want a potential client to get to know them? They all do. Um,
Those are great things to start things off. And tell us a little bit about Multivision Digital and how you help law firms.
we're all about video, 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 video. And we help law firms, depending on where they're at with adopting video, first understand that you are your product. So just like you have a nice headshot of you or pictures of you on your website, why? So people can connect with you. Video is the great connector. So help them to understand the why of video and kind of how to go about it. If firms have been doing video, maybe they want to get a cadence going of once a quarter, once a month, twice a year, things of that nature, but also how to market that content properly rather than just social. I hear that a lot, and it stops and ends there. But there's so many things that you can do with video, from repurposing it across different channels that you have. And then, of course, the strategy part, like, once you've done video for a while, every partner, every lawyer should be doing video themselves in addition to hiring a company like us. So where does that balance come in? How do they know how to be on camera?
Yeah.
All those things.
Yeah, I love the strategy piece about what you do, and I want to dig into that. Let's maybe take a step back. You've been doing this a long time. And so tell us a little bit about what you have seen with regards to video adoption and use in the legal space since you've been doing this.
It's still pretty slow. I mean, the runway is really, really long. I think compared to website adoption or email adoption or social media adoption, right? Law firms are really, really hesitant to get into those things when all of those things were new. But now, even SEO as well. But now, whoever's listening doesn't dispute that those things are important and is probably investing some type of dollars in those things. So video is on that trajectory. It's just a matter of time. So the firms that start to understand video and really get video are going to be the winners. We say it's going to take you about a year and a half to 2 years to get your video mojo going. And because there's so many different things about planning the strategy, planning for the shoot, your camera presence, how to be comfortable in camera, the editing process, and then the marketing of that content. Until you've done that 2 or 3 or 4 times and messed up a little bit, right? You're not going to get good at it. So that's where I think firms are going and some of the hesitancies of adoption. That being said, the market has softened a lot over the last couple of years because there are more law firms doing video, all different shapes and sizes of video. They're all doing it. So the peers are seeing more of it and therefore they want to get into it.
Yeah. So attorney entrepreneurs who are listening might have this question. So I'm going to ask you the question. I want to hear your response, and we'll talk a little bit about your response and my thoughts as well. The question might be, if they're listening, why do I need video in my law firm? Right? How would you respond to that?
Well, I'm going to respond to it from two different angles. Okay, one is the core, do your research and go into Google and type why video, right? Because it's the most performing piece of content for conversion, search, email open rates, and click-through rates. And so that's the hard number standpoint, right? The soft reasons are what better medium can you have for people to get to know you and to really connect with you than with video when people are in the decision-making process. And that means before they reach out to you and even after they reach out to you, because they're probably reaching out to 2 or 3 other firms and they're continuing their research until they sign with you.
Yeah,
So
that's an
that's kind of,
excellent point. I mean, they're both really good points, but I really like the point about how, when people think about video, they think about, oh yeah, I'm going to use video and people are going to see it, and then going to come to my law firm and then inquire. The part they often overlook, which you mentioned, is how important and how valuable it can be as they go through the process of being a potential client to being an actual client, and to be getting video during that process that they can review and watch is so cool. I mean, they could have that. And one of the things that we've talked about when I've worked with clients who want to do video is we say, okay, well, let's think about what are the common questions you get during a consultation. And they write down those frequently asked questions, and I'll ask them, and I'll say, look, you like answering the same question over and over and over again? Wouldn't it be cool if your prospective client had already watched a video where you're responding to that question, and then they come in with that question already taken care of? And the attorneys love that idea.
yeah. Or they still ask that question and you have the same answer. What kind of credibility and confidence does that give to that prospective client? It's huge.
Yeah, you got it.
Mhm.
Well, everyone says a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think a moving picture is probably worth a million. I mean,
Yep.
it really does so much. And then your point about having them get to know the attorney is really important. Not just to know what they look like when they're all dressed up, but to get to know them casually.
Yeah, that they're
I
a
mean,
person.
yeah, and this all plays into the overlying um, change of patterns that we're seeing with clients and how they are seeking out law firm services. And what we're finding is a lot of the patterns that are happening elsewhere with regards to buying habits are happening with law firms as well. It used to be that, the client would come in and they'd sit down for a consultation. They wouldn't know anything about the attorney or the law firm. They've been referred or they'd seen an ad somewhere, and they come in and they have a conversation, and they do that with a few law firms, and they click with one and end up signing. But a lot
Mhm.
of that's changed today. Now people are getting educated before they walk into the law office. So when they walk in and sit down with you, they've probably already checked you out on LinkedIn. They've
Yep.
probably looked at your website. They've
Yep.
probably looked at your bio. And if you have video, they've probably watched that too. And who do you think they are going to instinctively trust more? the person whose videos they've seen that person talking, or someone who just has a static bio online.
And they're meeting for the first time.
Bingo.
Right. hmm
Bingo. That's
So
the
absolutely
point.
right. I'm going to jump back to the first question you asked about the misconceptions and throw another one in here. And that is that, and I get this a lot with lawyers, they think they need to be perfect on camera. You don't, right? I just
I do that all the time.
all the time. But when we're talking in front of people, we might repeat a word, we might pause for a moment, but we don't stop. We don't say I'm sorry, and we continue the thought process, right? And you say that 5 times, every single 5 times is going to be in a different order as well. So think about that when you are on camera. I always say, think about the last play or performance, musical performance, act, dance, whatever that is. I guarantee you they messed up. You just don't know it because they're professionals. And that's what professionals do. They play right through it. And it's okay to every once in a while. Now, if you've got that you need some coaching, and that will you'll get over that over time with some coaching. But don't feel like you need to be perfect, and please do not use a script. Do not look at a teleprompter, especially don't put your notes off screen and look like this. You want to look at the dot. You know what the questions are. You know what the answers are. That doesn't mean not be prepared, but lawyers respond to these questions all the time without a script. And that's the professional you want to emulate on camera. And that's where I was saying it takes some time to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a couple of things going on here, just building on what you've said so far. One is setting up video takes a lot if I don't know how to do it right. Like I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the lighting's got to be perfect. And we've got to make sure we don't have a lot of ambient noise. And we've got to get microphones. And people start building it up to be more complicated in their own mind than it is in reality. And so they never actually move forward with it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to get your take on how hard it is to actually do these video shoots. And then the other part is the lens. Like staring into that lens is just, it can be paralyzing, it can be terrifying, and it also sucks up energy like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so there has to be a little bit of coaching for most people so that they are really effective on camera, even if it is just, their cell phone or what have you.
Yep.
Because it is a thing, isn't it?
Yep. So video is this is probably one of the misconceptions about video as well. Is like people think video is all about the cameras and equipment. And there's a huge professional services component to it. That is before, during, and after a shoot that people just don't think about. So the ability to perform on camera, if you've never done it, I would suggest hiring somebody, right, to learn that. And I said this in the earlier stages of this podcast is like you should be doing video yourself. Once you learn how to look at the dot or the lens and be comfortable, you're not going to know that, or you probably won't be good at it. Some people are, I guess.
Sure.
But that's professional services. And what was the other part of the question? Looking at the dot and
I think that was it. It was the
okay.
the energy that you have to give off to be in front of camera, how
Oh,
you present yourself.
you were talking about the ease and the simplicity. I mean, again, for us, we have a process, right? Our process is our process, regardless if we're doing a law firm talking head or we're doing a commercial over 5 locations. We still have a process down, and we guide our clients through that process, just like law firms and you guide, like everybody has a process. And that's why we're the professionals in this area because we
So
make
when
it
a
easy.
client, yeah, and when a client comes to you, what can they expect? Because they've got these open questions. They're wondering about how the setup's going to go. They're concerned about how they're going to look on camera. They're worried about what they're going to say, and they're really concerned I'm going to invest all this money and all this time, and it's going to perform like my last LinkedIn post performed, which is I'll get crickets. Like nothing will happen. And oh my God, I don't want that to happen because I've spent so much time and effort on this.
Mhm.
How do you work with them from start to finish? Maybe just describe the process at a high level.
So we want to know what distribution channels they have, and I said this before, like social. Everybody says social, right? Okay, well, I hate that answer because you said it's here today and gone now. We work with our clients on, especially with law firms, on evergreen content. Going back to what you suggested, what are the frequently asked questions? Great place to start. Don't start with a firm overview that makes you look good. Start with what people are searching on. And then we go in, we can do 5 videos, 10 videos in a day. We can batch produce, which is a higher investment, but still is from a cost per video standpoint. You're going to lower your cost. And those videos should last for 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years. And because we can take those videos, put them in blog posts, put them on social, and reuse them over and over and over and over again, they become more valuable. So that, and also take that one video and we create like 3 little LinkedIn posts. So now you've got 4, which you can use in, what are we, April 3rd. You can use on April 3rd. You can use it August 29th. You can use on January 1st. You can literally repurpose and recycle that content because it's on social. You're not going to recycle that on your blog post. But when people when people call you and they're interested in matter A or matter B, you now have a blog post or two with your video that talks about that. So now you can email them links to those pages that feature you talking about that particular matter. So again, over time, you do this is per law firm, once a year, twice a year, 4 times a year, whatever cadence is good for them, and they start to build up those libraries of videos. So they have videos that cover all the different matters that they're in that they can use for uh, attracting clients through search, emailing them through the process, on social, and lots of other things.
And how much do you do? And then how much is on the attorney or the law firm to do? Because this process you described is terrific. Lots of good things I like about it. And really the question is then what does the law firm or the attorney have to do
Mhm.
as part of that process?
The law firm then, or the attorney needs to open up a Google Doc or a Word doc and topic 1 and put 2 or 3 bullet points. Topic 2, 2 or 3 bullet points, and just build me like brainstorm. If you want to come up with 50 topics or 10, that's what they need to do. Then we have a Zoom meeting or a face-to-face meeting just to go over that. So us as a production company, we know a little bit about what to confirm what they want to say and what they shouldn't be saying, and then we go and shoot exactly what's on the document, and then we edit exactly what's on the document. So there's no surprises when they get those videos. There's not a lot of reviewing because we've already decided what the topic and what the content of each video is.
Right?
So, yes, there's a little work involved. There always is. But I think a lot of people think it's a lot more work than there really is.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that much. What's interesting about this process is for me, the interesting stuff happens once the videos are done. Because now you've got a digital asset that you can use in different ways. And you mentioned taking clips. That is really important. We're actually going through this right now with Law Firm Success Group and this podcast where we are doing podcast episodes and we are now taking those episodes and putting them on YouTube. And then we're doing small snippets and posting them to Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And I've been tracking this for about a month now, and it's really interesting. The podcast itself on the podcast platform is doing great. It's doing fine. YouTube, not great. Instagram, awful. LinkedIn, was good before and continues to be really good. And Facebook, I think, is somewhere in the middle. And it's interesting is all these social platforms have their own thing. They have their own algorithm. They have their own way of interacting with people. And so I thought that you could just take this stuff, repurpose it, and blast it out there, and you'll, boom, we'll get a lot of people following us and a lot of interaction. But that couldn't be further from the truth. What
Yep.
I'm finding is I've got to tune it for Instagram and tune it for YouTube and and so on and so forth. And that all happens after the videos are done. So
Mhm.
what sort of assistance do you provide? And maybe this isn't you, but what sort of assistance is out there for attorneys to make the most out of these videos that they've already shot?
Well, that's part of our service. We call it a video first marketing strategy. So we have processes in place that we can take that video first and then derive all the ancillary content that you're talking about with blogs, even press releases. If they do 3 or 4 videos on a topic, launch a press release that you've done this, or send it to an industry publication. We work with a law firm that they do bankruptcy. One of their practices is bankruptcy, so they send it to the bankruptcy blah 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 institute. I don't know, and
Right.
they distribute because that's their relationship. So the bankruptcy organization loves it because they get free content that's relevant. And it's not promotional in nature; it's educational in nature. So that's another channel. So that's what we do. We call it a video first marketing strategy. And it's a service, but we do that kind of after the fact if clients want. And that's where we know all the little intricacies of all those different platforms, and we can create the video and call to actions and other things that fit the distribution channels. I do want to say, like, again, you're talking about social. And I just want to really, really highlight that for most of those like FAQ videos,
Mhm.
stuff like that, the biggest bang for the buck is going to be on the website, in a blog, in a content area, on an industry page, search, and then follow up emails. Like that's going to be the biggest bang and the most value that law firms are going to get. Because again, everybody says social, and very few people have the distribution numbers on social to make the content valuable,
Yeah.
right? So it's not. But the website and following up with clients, they do that every single day.
It's been so interesting, Robert. I completely agree with you because that's what we're seeing with the podcast. I've not spent a dime on SEO ever, but about a year after I started the podcast, I started getting prospects finding me through the website, which was weird because I hadn't done anything to the website. And so I'm wondering what's going on. And so I was looking at my website. The only thing we were doing is we were posting the podcast to the website. And that was fresh for SEO. It's stuff that people could, depending on their preference, listen to or watch. And it lives on our website and it continues to drive traffic to our website.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, that's been a huge impact, way bigger than anything we're doing on YouTube or even LinkedIn.
And I've seen your website, just don't remember, but do you transcribe it as well?
Well, if you see my website and you don't remember it, it means I need to work on my website.
It's been so long. We talked at the beginning. It's probably 6 months, maybe
Yeah,
even
no,
longer that we've been
it's
going
like
back
I'm
and
I'm
forth.
pulling your leg. And it's also I guess true. I do need to work on it. We don't transcribe it anymore. I used to, and I
Okay.
I got away from it, and it's on our list of things to get back to.
Yeah, so like that's also probably something that helped with the transcription because here you are talking about, law firm topics, the word law firm or lawful marketing, law firm operations, all these different things are coming up over and over and over again in the transcript. That's probably helping as well. And that's where the video first marketing strategy comes in, where you kind of take that video, you transcribe it, you add some stuff to it because Google likes a little bit longer blog posts, but you use that as the jumping off point. And then, you take that video, put it at the top of the page, keyword friendly stuff at the bottom, and then it just gets searched on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I love this, Robert. If people want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Multivisiondigital.com.
Great.
Or if you got a pen and paper, 646-319-8609.
Right on.
Go
And do you
old
work?
school phone.
Yeah, old school phone, or you'll be getting text messages at that phone probably. Do you work with firms across the country, or do you have a limited geography?
Um, Both, right? So we have a service called remote video capture, which is actually a phenomenal solution for law firms because predominantly what they need is talking head, kind of like the way we're framed,
Yeah.
just talking, pontificating. So it's an app that you download on your phone, and then we have control over your phone, and we're basically recording natively to the phone. However, the person is still getting the professional services of our entire process. Pre-production, production, direction, and coaching, and then post-production. And then what happens is that the footage is uploaded to the cloud, and these phones are great
They're
from a
great.
quality standpoint. And then we can edit that. So even locally, we have firms utilizing the remote video capture product, but we also go on location. So
Love
most of
that.
our client base is in the New York City, like Mid-Atlantic, North Atlantic area because we can drive there. But because of the remote video capture, we have clients in Indiana, Seattle, Texas. Where's the other person? Louisiana that we've done, Michigan that we've done stuff for, and it's a great cost-effective solution.
Awesome. Robert, love what you're doing. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It was a
Thank
lot of
you.
fun chatting.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Lawyer Business Advantage podcast. One thing that would really help both us and other new potential listeners is for you to rate this show and leave a comment in iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you tune in to listen. And I want to hear from you, so connect with me on LinkedIn and let me know what you think of this episode. And if you are a solo or an owner of a small law firm, and you're looking to earn more money, attract better clients, or reduce your stress, we would love to talk with you to see how we can help. Request your free law firm assessment by visiting lawfirmsuccessgroup.com. Again, that URL is lawfirmsuccessgroup.com. We look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you for listening. My name is Alay Yajnik. Until next time, remember, you can seize freedom. You can embrace happiness. You can build your perfect practice.